Princess Margaret. But before we continue on, let me please share one little secret with you. This park here to the left is named after Elvis Presley. Yes, we have a city mayor who is probably fond of American culture because he named this park after Elvis Presley, and he even erected a statue representing Ronald Reagan, and that stands in the city center. And well, interestingly, that statue stands next the only communist monument the city still has, pretty close to the entrance of the US Embassy. And the story is that, well, according to an agreement, one communist monument was left behind, erected in the memory of the Soviet soldiers who died for the liberation of Budapest. Well, half of this story is not true, as you know, because it wasn't liberation, it was occupation and so on. But one monument was left behind, and that was the one, you know, the Soviets insisted on in the early 1990s, right there, you know, where the US Embassy is. But, well, nowadays there's a plan to remove that. And this year this Ronald Reagan statue appeared because he supported the collapse of communism, so his statue is just side by side standing with his communist monument. So it's an interesting combination, don't you think? Well, it's all been part of our history, so it depends how you interpret history, of course. Now, so who was this Princess Margaret is the question. Well, she was a legendary royal saint, lived in the 13th century, and she was the daughter of King Bela IV. Well, I tell you his name because this particular king is considered like the second founder of our country, because he governed Hungary at that time when the Mongols devastated this land. And he decided, in case the country was saved and rebuilt after this invasion, he would simply offer his daughter to God. She would serve God forever as a nun. And, well, that's what happened. So Princess Margaret was only 4 years old when she was sent to a monastery as a nun. Can you imagine? 4-year-old child as a nun. And till the age 29, she lived on that island as a nun herself and did all the dirty job in that monastery, refused food, tortured herself, so led a very devoted life to God. So after a while, after a lot of sufferings, got various illnesses, she died at the age 29. They even say that she was probably anorexic, so there are different researches done about that. Well, soon after her death, she was canonized, so now she's among the most respected saint women of this country, and she is buried among the ruins of the of the Dominican monastery on the Margaret Island. Nowadays the island recalls something else, though. The locals know exactly that that island is a romantic